Imagine standing at the edge of an active volcano, the ground beneath your feet rumbling as the air shimmers with heat. In the distance, a plume of ash rises, carried by the wind, the earth groaning with untold power. Now, what if I told you that this very phenomenon, something that's often feared, even hated, could hold the answer to the future of our planet? What if volcanoes, with their explosive eruptions and molten fury, were not only a force of destruction, but a key to understanding how Earth might survive the challenges of tomorrow? Sounds wild, right? But stick with me. Today, we're diving into the molten heart of Earth's most volatile features: volcanoes. You've heard the stories, seen the dramatic eruptions, and maybe even watched those fiery rivers of lava flow from a safe distance. But beneath all that chaos lies a deeper story. A story that could change everything we think we know about Earth's future. Have you ever wondered how Earth survived mass extinction events in the past? Or how it could possibly tackle the threats looming on the horizon? Could volcanoes be the unlikely heroes in a battle to save our planet? Today, we're exploring how volcanoes might just hold the key to Earth's future, and why scientists are beginning to look to them not with fear, but with hope. Volcanoes are one of the most ancient forces on Earth. They've been shaping the planet long before humans walked its surface. But it wasn't until the 20th century that scientists truly began to understand the massive impact volcanoes have had, and continue to have, on the Earth's evolution. From the creation of islands to the release of gases that form the atmosphere, volcanoes are not just destructive forces. They are Earth's breath, constantly renewing the landscape. Now let's go back in time. Picture Earth over 250 million years ago, at the end of the Permian period. A massive volcanic event triggered what we know as the Great Dying, one of the planet's most devastating mass extinctions. But, paradoxically, the same volcanic eruptions that led to the demise of 90% of life on Earth also paved the way for new life to emerge. Those eruptions released carbon dioxide and other gases, altering the atmosphere, which eventually led to the rise of the dinosaurs. So, how does this connect to Earth's future? Well, volcanoes have a history of both destruction and creation. Could the same forces that caused mass extinction also hold the secret to saving us from potential global catastrophes? It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Let's talk about one of the biggest challenges humanity is facing right now: climate change. With rising global temperatures, extreme weather events, and melting ice caps, the clock is ticking. The question is, can volcanoes help us? It turns out that volcanic eruptions have the potential to cool the Earth. I know, it might sound counterintuitive. After all, volcanoes release carbon dioxide, right? Well, that's true, but they also spew vast amounts of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. When sulfur dioxide combines with water vapor, it forms tiny droplets that reflect sunlight, essentially creating a natural sunshade for Earth. This phenomenon is known as a volcanic winter. Historically, some of the world's biggest volcanic eruptions, like the eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815, triggered cooler temperatures globally, leading to what was known as the year without a summer. Could this natural mechanism be harnessed to fight back against the warming planet? Could volcanoes become a part of the solution to the climate crisis? Scientists are actively investigating this possibility, exploring how volcanic activity might be used to control temperature in the future. But, as with all things related to nature, it's a double-edged sword. While volcanic eruptions can cool the planet temporarily, they can also lead to long-term environmental destruction. So, the question remains, how can we tap into the power of volcanoes without triggering irreversible damage? You might be wondering by now, If volcanoes have all this power, what does it mean for our future? Great question. Volcanoes, as we've seen, have shaped Earth's past, but they might also play a critical role in how we adapt to the challenges of the future. For example, let's talk about the potential for volcanoes to help us unlock new sources of energy. Geothermal energy, which is harnessed from the heat produced by the Earth's molten core, is already a viable source of renewable energy in places like Iceland. Could we expand this technology to other volcanic regions and create a sustainable energy source for the planet? Not only that, but volcanic minerals, some of which have been buried deep within the Earth's crust for millions of years, might hold the key to critical materials needed for future technologies. From rare earth elements to the minerals required, for batteries and electronics, volcanoes may be hiding resources that could drive the next wave of technological advancements. Even more intriguing, scientists have proposed the idea of using volcanic sites for carbon capture. Carbon capture is the process of removing excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and certain volcanic regions are uniquely positioned to absorb and store carbon. What if we could build carbon capture facilities near active volcanoes, using the natural properties of these locations to help mitigate the effects of climate change? Could this be the breakthrough humanity is waiting for? We've discussed how volcanoes can potentially help solve some of Earth's biggest problems. But what about the mysteries that lie beneath the surface? Volcanoes are far more than just explosions of molten rock. They are windows into the Earth's innermost workings. Scientists are using volcanoes to study the planet's deep history, unlocking secrets about the Earth's mantle and core. Take, for example, the study of volcanic eruptions and their relationship to plate tectonics. When a volcano erupts, it doesn't just release lava. It also releases gases and minerals that have been trapped deep inside the Earth. By studying these materials, scientists can gain insight into the movements of tectonic plates and even learn more about the origins of Earth itself. Even more mind-blowing, could volcanoes be sending signals about the future of the planet? Some scientists believe that by studying volcanic activity, they can predict geological events like earthquakes, or even identify the next supervolcano that could radically reshape the landscape. The idea of volcanoes acting as an early warning system for potential global catastrophes is still in its infancy, but the possibility is incredibly exciting. Before we plunge deeper into the mystery of volcanoes and their potential to shape Earth's future, let's take a step back and lay some groundwork. After all, to understand the magnitude of what volcanoes could offer, we first need to understand just what they are and how they've influenced our planet through the ages. Volcanoes, in their most basic form, are cracks in the Earth's surface that allow molten rock, gases, and ash to escape from the planet's interior. These eruptions can be violent and catastrophic, like the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD that buried the city of Pompeii, or they can be slow and steady, as seen with the shield volcanoes of Hawaii. But what's truly fascinating about volcanoes is how they've shaped the world around us for millions of years, often in ways we don't even realize. Imagine this. The Earth's crust is like a jigsaw puzzle, made up of large plates that are constantly shifting, moving, and crashing into each other. This movement is responsible for earthquakes, mountain ranges, and, yes, volcanic eruptions. In fact, nearly all volcanic activity occurs along these tectonic plate boundaries. So, when you think of volcanoes, picture the Earth as a living, breathing entity, a planet that's constantly in motion, with volcanoes acting as its outlets for energy and heat. It's a process that has been happening for billions of years, and it shows no sign of slowing down. Now, volcanoes may seem like a nuisance to those living near them, and understandably so. But their importance goes far beyond the lava and ash they release. Take, for example, the way volcanoes have influenced the atmosphere. During ancient volcanic eruptions, huge amounts of gases, like carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, were expelled into the air, creating the early atmosphere of Earth. Without these eruptions, it's likely that life as we know it would never have had the chance to evolve. In many ways, volcanoes can be credited with creating the very conditions that allowed life to thrive. But this is just the beginning of the story. The true significance of volcanoes is still unfolding, and the stakes couldn't be higher. We've already seen how volcanic eruptions have played a role in shaping Earth's past, but how do we know they won't continue to play a pivotal role in Earth's future? Here's where things get even more intriguing. Just as volcanoes have had a hand in shaping Earth's history, they could now be positioned to help us survive the very challenges threatening our future. Could these volcanic forces, so often feared and misunderstood, actually hold the answers to some of the world's most pressing problems? How can something that has caused so much destruction possibly offer solutions? That's the part of the volcano story we're about to uncover, and it's one that could change how we view these mighty mountains forever. So, as we take this journey through time and science, keep in mind that volcanoes are more than just destructive forces. They are deep, mysterious, and powerful, pushing and pulling the planet in ways we've only begun to understand. And as we continue to study them, one thing becomes clear. Volcanoes could be the hidden saviors of the Earth, if only we can learn to work with them rather than against them. Stay with me as we dig deeper into this fiery enigma and reveal just how volcanoes could hold the key to Earth's future. So far, we've explored how volcanoes have shaped the Earth throughout history, from their creation of islands to their role in altering the atmosphere. But here's where things take a turn that will completely change how you think about volcanoes and their role in the future. What if I told you that volcanoes might not just be shaping the Earth's surface, but potentially saving it? That's right. Volcanoes, those mighty, destructive forces, could hold the key to solving some of the planet's most daunting challenges. But how? Here's where the mystery begins to unfold. Scientists have been studying the power of volcanic eruptions and the gases they release, and something remarkable has started to emerge. It turns out that volcanoes might be able to cool our planet's temperature. Yes, you heard that correctly. Volcanoes, which are often associated with global warming due to the carbon dioxide they release, could actually help reverse some of the very effects that are driving climate change. But how could this be possible? When a massive volcanic eruption occurs, it doesn't just shoot out lava and ash. It also releases something far more intriguing: sulfur dioxide. This gas has a curious property. When it enters the upper atmosphere, it reacts with water vapor to form tiny droplets, which then reflect sunlight back into space. This process, known as global dimming, essentially creates a natural sunshade for Earth, lowering temperatures in the immediate aftermath of an eruption. Take, for example, the eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815. That single eruption caused an immediate global temperature drop, leading to what was known as the year without a summer. Crops failed, food became scarce, and temperatures plummeted. But, in a strange twist of fate, this cooling effect might be something we could harness in the future. So, here's the question. Could we, in the not-too-distant future, use volcanic eruptions to intentionally cool the planet? Could volcanoes, once seen as a threat, become the Earth's unlikely ally in the battle against climate change? But hold on. Not so fast. As exciting as this sounds, it's not that simple. While volcanic eruptions can temporarily cool the planet, they also come with some serious risks. The sulfur dioxide that creates the cooling effect can also lead to acid rain, and the ash clouds can cause massive destruction. It's not exactly a one-size-fits-all solution. So, can we find a way to harness this power without triggering disaster? As we dig deeper, the stakes only get higher. There's still so much we don't know about how volcanic activity could help save the planet, or if it's even possible to control it in a way that benefits humanity. But one thing's for sure, the mysteries of volcanoes have only just begun to reveal themselves. Now, as we continue to explore this mystery, keep in mind that volcanoes are not just agents of destruction. They might be the key to a future we never thought possible. Could this be the breakthrough Earth desperately needs? Could volcanoes hold the answers to saving our world from climate catastrophe? Let's continue this journey together and find out. Now that we've hinted at the incredible potential volcanoes might hold in solving some of the planet's greatest challenges, let's dive into the science that makes this discovery not just possible, but exciting. At the heart of this revelation is one simple question. How do volcanoes influence the atmosphere and climate? To answer that, scientists needed more than just traditional knowledge. They needed to break down centuries of assumptions and turn their eyes to the skies. And that's exactly what they did. Using cutting-edge satellite technology, researchers have begun to peer deeper into volcanic activity, tracking eruptions and studying their aftermath in ways that weren't possible just a few decades ago. Satellites now allow scientists to measure the gases released during volcanic eruptions with unprecedented precision. They've identified key substances like sulfur dioxide and ash, which play pivotal roles in the effects volcanic eruptions have on the planet's temperature. In fact, scientists can now monitor the concentration of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere right after an eruption. This gas is a key player in the process known as stratospheric aerosol injection. When sulfur dioxide rises high enough, it interacts with water vapor, forming fine droplets that scatter sunlight, effectively reducing the amount of solar radiation that reaches Earth's surface. This process is nature's way of cooling things down, and it's a mechanism we might someday harness for the planet's benefit. But the technology doesn't stop at satellites. Researchers are also studying historical volcanic events to understand how the Earth responded to past eruptions. Let's take a look at some of these pivotal moments in history. The eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815 is one of the most significant volcanic events we've ever witnessed. It sent massive quantities of ash and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, which cooled the Earth by about 1 degree Celsius, enough to trigger crop failures and a global food crisis. This event, known as the Year Without a Summer, provides the most vivid example of the potential cooling effects volcanoes can have. But here's where it gets fascinating. Scientists are beginning to realize that these cooling effects might not be temporary. By studying the composition of ice cores from glaciers, those time capsules of Earth's history, they've discovered that eruptions like Tambora have long-lasting effects on the atmosphere, lasting for years, sometimes even decades. These revelations open up a new possibility. Could we intentionally trigger these cooling effects to help combat the current climate crisis? Now, the real mystery lies in how we could control this volcanic cooling effect. How do we tap into this natural phenomenon without causing the destruction that often follows an eruption? The answer lies in a controversial area of scientific research: geoengineering. Geoengineering involves manipulating the Earth's climate using technology, and one proposed method is mimicking the effects of volcanic eruptions by artificially injecting aerosols into the atmosphere. The idea is to create a controlled cooling effect, similar to what we see after a major eruption, but without the catastrophic consequences. Incredibly, experiments are already underway to test this idea. Some scientists have already successfully tested small-scale geoengineering projects, using planes to release substances like sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere to see how the atmosphere responds. While we're still a long way from implementing this on a global scale, the early results are promising. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The process is far from perfect, and it comes with its own set of ethical, environmental, and geopolitical challenges. What would be the long-term effects of manipulating Earth's climate? Could we inadvertently create more problems than we solve? These are questions that need to be answered before we can even think about using volcanic power for climate control. In the end, what's so thrilling about this discovery is the potential it holds. The very force that once caused mass extinction events might now be the key to saving us from a global catastrophe. Volcanoes, it turns out, are more than just destructive forces. They are powerful, mysterious tools that could help steer the Earth toward a safer, more sustainable future. As we stand on the brink of this scientific breakthrough, one thing is clear. The journey has just begun, and the stakes could not be higher. The science is still unfolding, and every new discovery brings us closer to unlocking the true potential of these fiery giants beneath our feet. Could volcanoes really save the Earth? We might soon find out. Now that we've explored the incredible science behind the potential of volcanoes to save our planet, let's step back and consider the bigger picture. What does this discovery mean for us as humans, living in the 21st century, struggling with climate change, resource depletion, and environmental uncertainty? Think about this for a moment. Volcanoes, which we often fear, have been shaping Earth's atmosphere and climate for billions of years. They are the Earth's way of regulating itself, sometimes creating life-sustaining conditions, and other times wiping entire ecosystems off the map. What if the very same forces that have caused such devastation throughout history are now offering us the blueprint for survival? Can we trust nature's power to help us save ourselves? This discovery doesn't just change what we know about volcanoes, it changes what we understand about Earth's ability to heal. It forces us to rethink our relationship with the planet, a planet we've often taken for granted. It challenges the notion that we, as humans, are the only ones capable of influencing the future of this world. After all, volcanoes have been doing it for millions of years, long before we ever came along. But here's the real kicker. What does this mean for how we see the future of the Earth itself? Will we have the foresight to use the power of volcanoes for good? Or will we continue to ignore the deeper wisdom of our planet's natural processes? Could we be staring at the solution to climate change right under our noses? Or is it too risky to tamper with these primal forces of nature? The questions keep piling up. If volcanoes can cool the planet and stabilize the atmosphere, could they also alter the course of future mass extinction events? Could volcanoes, perhaps, even be the missing piece in the puzzle of Earth's long-term survival? Let's consider another scenario. What if we could harness the volcanic heat beneath the surface, tapping into geothermal energy on a global scale? What if volcanoes could become a sustainable source of power, offering the world an alternative to fossil fuels? The potential here is limitless. Volcanoes are not just forces of destruction. They are untapped sources of power, energy, and climate control. Yet, there's an emotional undercurrent to all of this. There's an undeniable wonder that comes with the idea that volcanoes could be the very forces we need to fight the warming planet. Can you imagine a future where humanity learns to coexist with volcanoes, using their might to help restore balance to our Earth? It's an exhilarating thought, but it's also terrifying. The balance between harnessing volcanic energy and respecting its power is delicate. One wrong move could could send us spiraling into chaos. In the context of history, this discovery also raises profound questions about how Earth's climate has changed over millions of years. Could volcanic activity have been responsible for some of the largest shifts in Earth's ecosystems? Could the same eruptions that altered the landscape in the past also be the key to understanding the fate of ecosystems that have yet to come? How did the Earth survive the immense upheavals of ancient eruptions? And how can we learn from that survival? As we stand at the crossroads of this discovery, we are left with more questions than answers. How do we manage the power of volcanoes without unleashing uncontrollable destruction? How do we balance the potential benefits with the risks? Could we unlock the mysteries of Earth's deepest forces and use them to safeguard the future of the planet? These are questions that will haunt scientists and thinkers for generations to come. But one thing is clear: volcanoes are not just geological phenomena. They are a window into the Earth's soul. They hold within them the answers to some of our most pressing global crises, if only we can learn to read their signs. The deeper we dig into this mystery, the more we realize how little we actually know. Yet, with every revelation, we inch closer to understanding the Earth's true power and our own place within it. So, as we continue to explore this journey, remember, volcanoes are not just about destruction. They are about creation, evolution, and, perhaps, our salvation. They could hold the key to the survival of not just our planet, but to humanity itself. The question now is, will we unlock that potential before it's too late? After everything we've uncovered, it's time for the most jaw-dropping part of our journey. We've talked about the incredible power of volcanoes, their potential to influence Earth's climate, and the scientific methods that have led us to this point. But now, after decades of research and exploration, we have the answer to the question that has been building all along. Could volcanoes actually hold the key to saving our planet? The truth is, volcanoes are more than just the destructive, fiery giants we've always feared. They are, in fact, nature's most powerful climate regulators, living, breathing entities that could hold the answer to our battle against climate change. And here's the revelation that will change everything. Volcanoes could be our secret weapon in reversing global warming. This might sound like science fiction, but the evidence is undeniable. Thanks to groundbreaking research using satellite imaging, climate models, and geological studies, scientists have discovered that volcanic eruptions release far more than just ash and gases. They release a cooling effect that could help us fight the warming planet. When sulfur dioxide and other particles are ejected into the atmosphere, they reflect sunlight, effectively acting as a natural sunscreen for Earth. Imagine that. Volcanoes, which have been responsible for massive eruptions and environmental shifts throughout history, might now be our allies in preventing the extreme warming that's threatening our world. But it gets even more mind-blowing. What if we could trigger this natural cooling effect without the catastrophic destruction of an eruption? What if we could control volcanic activity in a way that helps restore balance to the planet without triggering mass destruction or upheaval? The potential for geoengineering, inspired by volcanic activity, could become the breakthrough humanity needs to survive the climate crisis. This is not just a theory anymore. The research is already underway. In fact, scientists are testing small-scale geoengineering experiments, looking to artificially inject sulfur particles into the atmosphere to mimic volcanic eruptions and create cooling effects. Though we're far from mastering this technology, the fact that we're even considering this as a potential solution shows just how far we've come. Volcanoes, once seen as catastrophic forces of nature, are now being reimagined as potential saviors of the planet. But here's the catch. The power of volcanoes comes with its own set of risks. Could we trigger unforeseen consequences by tampering with such primal forces? How will the environment respond to artificial eruptions? These are the big questions that remain unanswered, and they're ones we must consider carefully. The discovery that volcanoes might be the solution to Earth's climate crisis isn't just a breakthrough in science. It's a revolution in how we think about the planet. It forces us to reevaluate our entire approach to environmental problems and question whether the answer might lie in nature's raw, untamed power. As we stand on the precipice of this new era in scientific exploration, we can't help but wonder, can we harness the power of volcanoes for good? Or will we unleash a force too dangerous to control? The journey has only just begun, but what we know for certain is this: volcanoes are no longer just symbols of destruction. They are perhaps the key to unlocking a sustainable future for Earth and humanity. And as we look to the future, we must ask ourselves, are we ready to embrace the power of volcanoes and use them to rewrite the fate of our planet? The mystery remains, and the answers are waiting to be discovered. Now that we've uncovered how volcanoes could potentially save our planet, the big question remains: what happens next? How do we take this groundbreaking discovery and transform it from a thrilling possibility into a real solution? The future is uncertain, but one thing is for sure: scientists aren't backing down. Researchers are already racing to explore this potential, refining geoengineering techniques and studying volcanic activity with even greater precision. The dream of harnessing volcanoes to cool the planet, mitigate climate change, or even generate sustainable energy is no longer just a theoretical discussion. It's becoming a tangible goal. But while the possibilities are exciting, we are only scratching the surface of what volcanoes might truly offer. In the coming years, expect to see more experiments, both in laboratories and in the field, that aim to replicate the effects of volcanic eruptions without the destructive fallout. These early-stage geoengineering projects will test the limits of what we can safely achieve. But with these advancements come new questions. Could we ever control volcanic power without facing the unpredictable consequences of a real eruption? What ethical boundaries will we have to navigate when dealing with such raw, uncontrollable forces of nature? The bigger picture remains unclear, but the path forward is paved with discovery and uncertainty. Could this research inspire new methods of harnessing energy from volcanoes, not just for cooling the Earth, but for powering entire cities sustainably? What other ways could we manipulate the natural world to our advantage without compromising our environment? And perhaps the most profound question of all: how will our understanding of volcanoes reshape our relationship with Earth itself? The mystery is far from over. As scientists continue to probe deeper into the heart of volcanoes, we're left to wonder, could these fiery giants really become our allies in the fight to save the planet? Or will we find ourselves, once again, on the edge of a discovery too dangerous to control? The answers will unfold in the years to come, and perhaps in ways we've never imagined. But as we continue to explore, one thing is certain: volcanoes have only begun to reveal their true power. And the future, our future, may depend on how well we learn to unlock that power. What we've uncovered today is nothing short of mind-blowing. Volcanoes, those forces of nature we've always feared, might just hold the key to saving our planet. From their incredible power to cool the Earth, to their potential to revolutionize the way we generate energy, these fiery giants could be the unexpected heroes of the climate crisis. But as we've seen, this discovery is only the beginning. There are still so many questions left to answer and so many mysteries to unravel. Will we be able to harness volcanic power safely? Can we truly control nature's most destructive forces for the good of our planet? The future holds incredible possibilities, but only time and a lot of research will tell. If today's video sparked your curiosity and made you think about volcanoes in a whole new way, don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. And if you're eager to continue exploring the mysteries of Earth and beyond, make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos. The journey into the unknown is just getting started, and we want you along for every step. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.